The truth is hitting him hard. Bill Maher has been turning up the heat on the far left lately, and in a recent podcast, he went all out blasting their woke agenda. Bill also took direct shots at AOC and Bernie Sanders over their recent nationwide tour in a separate segment on his show. From absurd policies to performative virtue signaling today, we're going to break down everything Maher said, and you'll love every second of it. As always, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos just like this.
Yes.
Once you start something, you get a certain amount of cult followers for anything. And then the true believers never die. I mean, a lot of people would say right now, the Democratic Party is still in that mode, which is going to render them possibly an irrelevant party if they don't change.
What would you like to see from the Democrats, like, going forward?
Much more centrism, much more get rid of the woke baggage, you know. Old school liberal is what I usually describe myself as. But that's very often the opposite of woke. Woke would like people to believe that there's some sort of an extension of liberalism, but they're not. They're usually something that's quite opposite.
Bill Maher isn't the only liberal pushing back. According to a recent Gallup poll, 55% of Democrats now say they want their party to become more moderate. That's an 11-point jump from 2021. Meanwhile, a combined 51% say they either want the party to stay the same or become more liberal. I have to say the wording on this poll could have been better when moderate is already an option. My educated guess is that more liberal likely means moving even further left, which shows a lot of Democrats are also getting fed up with this issue. And when it comes to Maher's argument that wokeism isn't an extension of the left, I have to disagree. In the US, liberalism is generally understood as the political left. Woke is what happens when you take that position and push it to the extreme, and it eventually reaches a space where free speech takes a backseat to groupthink and censorship, although this can also happen on the far right.
Liberalism was, we should have a colorblind society and not see race at all. That's not what the woke believe.
Yeah, I would say
they're the opposite.
Quite.
Let's put race at the front of everything. You know, it's not my fault that happened, but woke, progressive, liberal, I don't know what, I just know what I believe. And I know that to answer your original question, is it going to go away? I don't think so. I don't think it ever goes away fully. And if the Democrats will either make the hard edge of it, they have so many opportunities to sister soldier this shit and just do something that would make Americans go, oh, you know what? Good, because Trump is starting to really make me nervous. And it'd be nice to think if the other party wasn't so married to these cultural issues.
That's what it all boils down to. If you look beyond their passionate speeches, the far left doesn't offer any actual policy plans. Their entire argument is really based on identity politics, and the only way that they have to persuade voters is to say that if they fall into a certain group, they have to vote for them. We've seen it time and again. If you're a woman, vote for Kamala. If you're black, vote Democrat. Just like Biden's infamous "you ain't black" comment, it's not about ideas, solutions, or improving the country anymore. It's about checking the right boxes and celebrating the endless firsts a person can bring to the table. It's a shallow playbook that treats voters as easily swayed by whatever propaganda is being pushed their way, and assumes they're incapable of thinking for themselves. Maher also took some jabs at AOC and Bernie on his latest show and made some valid points.
The people who are getting the big crowds right now are AOC and Bernie Sanders. They're going around the country. Thank you, there's that same guy. I call him the always wrong guy. No, I'm kidding. Okay, but I feel like, you know, big crowds, again, the shiny object that the Democrats chase it's not about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job done.
I don't want to take anything away from Bernie's tour with AOC. He's basically done similar things his entire career, but is he really reaching the right audience anymore? Take that Coachella appearance, for example. 60% of attendees reportedly financed their tickets over a 12-month payment plan. Think about that. People are going into debt to attend a music festival. It kind of makes sense, though. That's probably the only crowd willing to buy into Bernie's fantasies of expanded government programs, mass student loan forgiveness, and endlessly spending until we're all done. I mean, they're already used to living beyond their means, so when Bernie shows up promising free everything, it's music to their ears. By the way, I've noticed you haven't liked the video or subscribed to the channel yet, so what are you waiting for? Now, Winston Marshall, who was Bill's guest on the podcast, went on Dave Rubin's show and was asked his opinion about Bill's recent stances, to which he responded with this.
I think his position still would be, the liberals, I mean, he basically said it there, the liberals should still be trying to retake the Democrat Party from the crazies. Do you have a particular opinion on that?
He's also right about the cult of wokeism. And this actually just pertains to what we were previously discussing. It was the sagacious Thomas Jefferson who said, if everyone thinks the same, no one is thinking. And that also goes to the point that we should be speaking, if we are thinking all the same, we're basically in a cult.
Whether you want to call it a cult or not, there's no denying the far left functions like a tightly controlled echo chamber with a heavy dose of censorship mixed in. The goal isn't to encourage thought, debate, or even respectful disagreement, it's to make sure everyone is thinking the exact same thing about every major issue. That's not political unity, that is groupthink, and no, it's not normal. Just look at what happened to Bill Maher. The guy faced massive backlash simply for attending a dinner the President of the United States invited him to. The same crowd that once applauded his every Trump joke and praised him for speaking truth to power suddenly turned on him and called him an unfunny hack. Just overnight. And that's the problem. This isn't about holding liberal values anymore. It's about absolute obedience. And the thing is, Democrat Party leadership doesn't seem to learn from their mistakes. For example, here's a clip from roughly 4 years ago discussing the exact same issue.
Issues that progressive Democrats, the left side of the Democratic Party, have been pushing in this kind of woke environment and showing how unpopular they are. It doesn't take much number crunching, and I'm not very good at math, to tell you that if you've got issues like defund the police that are 64 opposed, 18 in favor, that's bad for your electoral prospect. I don't think Democrats would do well to try to solve that anytime soon, the Democrats who are non-woke. What I do think that Democrats can do is not emphasize that as much. And you've heard this, there's a pollster, David Shore, a young pollster, but increasingly popular. He made a number of arguments against the Democrats emphasizing defund the police during the 2020 election and in its aftermath, and said, this cost us points.
And guess where that approach led them? They lost control of both Congress and the presidency. You'd think that kind of political fallout would spark some serious self-reflection, but instead, the opposite happened. Rather than course correct, they've doubled down, pushing even further to the left with each passing day, and despite the clear signs from polls, elections, and even voices within their own party, there's no indication they're slowing down or changing course anytime soon. But I'd love to know your thoughts here, so let's get the conversation rolling in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please share it with your friends, it means the world. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.